Yo, what's up everybody? I'm Twiggy Wolf and today I'm going to show you a sneak peek into my knife collection for 2019. In the years of past, I had quite a few knives, but they were kind of inexpensive, some Chinese knives, and lately I kind of been bitten by the knife bug over the last 2 years. And so I started to invest in hard cases to protect my knives. So the first thing I'll start out with is storage ideas. There are Nanook or Pelican cases, but I actually got Apache cases from Harbor Freight. So this is the 3800, and they do also have smaller versions as well as larger versions. This one is huge. This is the 4800, and I picked a couple of these up while they were on sale over at Harbor Freight. So if you're interested in those, I'll start off with my fixed blades. I do have a number of them. Some of them are Chinese and I'll probably end up dumping them later on. But there's a number of them. Any of those that look interesting when I was younger, I picked them up. So this is another Elk Ridge. They're pretty decent knives. I mean, you know, for what it is, if you want to keep one in your pack, you know, if you're going hunting or whatever, these work good and they're pretty reasonably priced. This one I got a long time ago as a kid. I was probably 12. So this is an old Kershaw dagger knife, the amphibian, and it's like lime green, like pea green sheath, but it's kind of one of those knives like when you're a kid you get really excited. I don't use this a lot, but it is kind of a little fun knife. I do have a few of these Chinese throwing knives. I started getting decent with it, but I would like to get my hands on some actual good throwing knives. So I've got a couple of pair of these. These are the Smith & Wesson set. They're really heavy. They're not balanced very well, but you know, just for hugging knives and whatever, if you lose them, they're pretty reasonably priced, so you can mess around with them and not feel guilty if you lose one. One of my favorites though, of course, are when somebody you know makes you a knife. So my dad's friend, who is a family friend, made all of us fixed blade knives for hunting, gutting elk and deer out. They are super cool. He put his awesome touches on these, especially on the leather himself. He spent a lot of time making these. He really enjoyed it. So these will always be knives that you'll never really give away or sell. So this is the Buck 632 Mesa, I believe. It is pretty decent fixed blade. Comes with its own sheath. I believe this one is plastic, but decent sheath. You can, you know, mount it up wherever you need to. It does have a belt clip. It's actually pretty nice, pretty stout. I mean, I probably wouldn't be afraid to carve with it or whatever I need to do if I was out hunting or something. So I always do keep a few of these around, even if they sit in the truck or something. So this is the Buck 822 Century knife, one of the tactical style knives. I do actually like this, and it is very, very stout. I'm not afraid to pry with it. I haven't used this one a ton, but the other one that I did have, I used quite a bit. These are nice knives to have around, especially when you're out hiking or camping or something, just in case you do need it. They're very stout, and they store easy too. So honestly, it's definitely a nice knife to have around with you. So this is the CRKT Obaki. I hope I'm saying that right. Does have some cool details, little skull bead on there. I do like the option to be able to hang these on the belt. I'm trying to decide which one I want for my range belt, so I picked up a few to kind of try them out, and I'll probably have one on the range belt itself just in case I do need a blade. But the design on this, it's super comfortable, pretty decent blade length. And this is the CRKT Aki. This is a little bit smaller blade. It does have some cool details on there. And I haven't really decided which one I'm going to use on there, so I may keep one in the truck and one on my range belt. But the sheath's really nice, and I bought a couple of accessories to be able to mount those up to the range belt once I decide which one I'm going to use. This is the Schrade SCH-F57, similar to the other CRKTs that I have up. Again, I was just looking for kind of budget style knives to either put in the truck or put on my range belt. So I'm gonna kind of play around with these and see how they do. This is the SCH C14 by Schrade. So it does come with the sheath, and these do look like they are Kydex. But this one has a lot better feel on it. I have a feeling that this is probably going to be the one that I'm going to keep on my range belt. The blade steel, it is a little bit on the cheaper side, so the blade steel is, you know, it's going to hold an edge, but it is what it is. It's not going to be it's probably going to be a knife that I would beat up on being on the range, so I'm not going to be afraid to pry with it or something. So, you know, if it's destroying the edge on this knife and resharpening it, I'm not too afraid of, you know, using this knife. That's why I kind of wanted to keep those a little bit cheaper. But this is actually a pretty decent knife. This is actually one that I had as a kid, my old buck knives. This one is the 422. It's got so much dust on it because it's been sitting around. Probably I had this when I was 7, so I put this through the works. Honestly, buck has been my favorite knife since I was a kid. I do have 2 buck knives that I probably will never get rid of, and I did lose a few of them. Buck knives is definitely one of my all-time favorites. They're super tough knives, super stout. But this one I'll always keep. I may never use it again, but you know, it got its use out when I was a kid. So these are my budget knives. I do have quite a bit of these. Most of these on the top are Chinese. Some are decent Chinese, like Tucson. So I'll just kind of go through these. I will keep a bunch of these around, but some of these will not stay in my collection probably very much longer. So honestly, out of all my budget knives, I really do like the M21 14SF by CRKT. This is the Carson design. You can see on this one, it has been used quite a bit. I like to use this knife a lot. It has, and I actually have 2 of them because I like this knife so much. It is a longer blade, so just be careful. In some states, they do have a restriction on blade length. But other than that, I mean, this one is super dirty. I do need to take it apart and clean it. But the second one is super clean. But I do love this knife. There are a few things that I really do like about it. They've got their own little safety lock on the back side, so that when you close it, you actually have to flick the lever, and then the liner lock then retracts, and then you could fold it. I really like how this thing carries. It's a deep pocket clip. Deploys really easy. The one thing is that they do have a one-side grind on this, but the belly on the blade is really nice. This is probably one of my favorite knives, probably say under 80 bucks. This is the M16 14 SFG. Boy, CRKT has some long names. This one is really cool. Again, the blade length on this is pretty long. I do think they market these for more police officer and tactical for military. So, but they are really awesome knives. Same lock and liner lock style, so you do have to press the button to release the liner lock. They deploy really easy. They carry really well. So this is the M16 14ZLEK. Boy, that was a mouthful. It does have a few other options that the other ones that I showed don't. It does have a glass breaker on the end of this, seatbelt cutter on the front, same deep pocket carry clip, flipper style. This is the Tonto blade, a little bit of serrations on it. I really do like these knives. Good jimping right here. I mean, you can definitely get a good grip on it. Again, the blade length on these are a little bit longer, so check your local laws. Honestly, these knives are really, really nice. I don't believe these are made in America, but these are all Carson designs. They're super comfortable to carry, and for as big as they are, they're actually pretty light. This is the M2104G, another Carson design by CRKT. This has got a smaller flipper on it, about the same weight as the others. Big belly blade. Feels really good in the hand though, just like the others. Same lock, the lock safety, and then the liner lock. But they deploy really good, really light. They're easy in and out of the pocket, and I really do like these. So this is a combination between CRKT and Ruger. This one, I like just like big tank knives. I don't carry them often, but I don't know, it just kind of spoke to me. You see those knives and you just kind of go, yeah, I could use that. I don't carry it very often, but it's super sweet, honestly. It does look like you can use this as a glass breaker. It's got a very deep pocket carry on this. It is actually a lot heavier than the other knives we just looked at. Deploys really easy. Another Tonto blade. And then again, this is the Ruger partnership with CRKT. It's a Carter design, and this is the 2-stage. And this, it's kind of a flashier kind of knife to have around. This is the Fossil from CRKT. They definitely kind of made this as more of a display knife. I really do like the blade on it though. I may do some customizing on it and take some of this off. But other than that, I mean, it's really decent knife. This has frame lock on it. It's pretty light. It does look like it'd be a little bit heavier, but this one feels awesome in the hand. Blade is pretty long though too. But decent clip on the bottom. Honestly, I mean, for what it is, this knife's kind of cool. I mean, I could definitely see carrying it. But it is pretty flashy. So, I mean, I do like my knives to be kind of more simple looking, whereas this is definitely more flashy. But I think this has got good flavor to it. It's definitely got style or pizzazz, I guess you could say. But it's a pretty cool knife. And this is the M2102G, basically a smaller version of the larger knife. Does have the same safety, and this is a flipper, liner lock, pretty decent long pocket clip on it. Deploys pretty easy. It is a little bit slower than the other ones, so my guess it's got different spacers or bearings in there. I've not taken it apart to see kind of the internals of it, but super decent knife. This would probably be a lot better to have a smaller knife, and some of the other ones they have are super small. But honestly, I wouldn't mind carrying this and having the pocket. It is a little bit easier to carry than those other honkers that they have. But so this is the M1601S by CRKT. if you like a gentleman's knife and you don't want something super heavy, this one's actually really cool. Same style as the others we just looked at, but it is way smaller and way lighter. And this one is a frame lock, and it does not have that safety mechanism on it. This is the CRKT Pilar. It's kind of another gentleman's knife. I think, you know, if you're in dress clothes or something and you want to have a, you know, a pocket knife on you, I think that this one would definitely be a good choice. Frame lock design, pretty easy to deploy. Does have a, you know, thumb hole in it to open, but it fits really good in the hand. I've got decently large hands, and even though it is a smaller knife, it does fit pretty well in your hand. And this is the Drifter from CRKT, and it did come with bottle opener and a pry tool. One of the Christmas packages. I may end up selling these off. I won't be probably using this one too much, but it's a real simple design knife, and I'm sure, you know, even though the price is very minimal, this would be a very good knife to carry every day if you wanted a good cheap budget knife. Plus it comes with some useful tools to be able to use: bottle opener, pry bar, screwdriver, you know, and get a few different options on this. And I think these were right under 15 bucks for the holiday thing, and you got both of them. So this is an awesome knife. This is the Kershaw Knockout. Pretty thin, honestly, but this thing feels great in your hand. I mean, the only other thing that I would say, kind of like some of the upper tier Kershaws, maybe a little bit wider of a handle on this, but other than that, this knife is awesome. It is assisted, so it does deploy very easily, flipper. And it does, I believe it comes in a few different colors, so I just got this OD green. This knife is awesome though. I really do like carrying this knife. The blade's pretty large. The handle feels really good. Again, I'd probably like a little bit thicker of a handle, but as it is, this knife's pretty awesome. It's really, really, really light. But Kershaw definitely makes some killer knives, and I believe this one was under 70 bucks when I bought it, so I imagine it may be cheaper now. But this is definitely one I'd recommend if you want to pick up something under 80 bucks and have a good quality knife and have good material on it. So this is the Kershaw Link. And they have two options on this one, and I did like the aluminum on it versus getting the G10. So they do have two options on this knife. I'll probably end up selling the G10. Both are awesome knives. You will pay a little bit more for the better materials on this. They similar in weight. Obviously the aluminum handles are a little bit heavier, but the blades look very similar, but personally, I would rather go the little bit more expensive route. There's nothing wrong with this knife though, don't get me wrong. So this Link, you can pry with it, cut with it, and it will do anything you need to. These are liner lock, pretty decent, deep pocket clips. I honestly just like the colors available on these other options, but for what it is, these Links are awesome knives for the money. So I mean, if you don't have a lot to spend, you're gonna get a lot of life out of this one. So this is the Cryo from Kershaw, and it is an assisted blade. This is a Hinderer design. But this one feels pretty good in your hand. Again, I do have large hands, so your pinky kind of falls off on this, but you've got a good place to get a good grip on the knife. And honestly, for the money, this one's pretty awesome. It does look really good. It's super thin. It's really light. Decent blade. Smaller blade on it. It's probably about 2.5 to 2 3/4 inch blade. But super awesome knife. Pretty affordable. So I do have 2 of this knife because I like them so much. These are by far my favorite budget knife. These are the Kershaw Filters. This is the stonewash finish. I don't know if they still have the other color options available on these, but I'm going to say these are right under 15 bucks. These, if you do not have a lot of money, this is by far one of the best carry knives to have with you. I highly recommend having at least 1 or even 2 of these with you, because they're awesome. If you lose one, they're cheap enough to just go buy another one. I usually stock up and buy 4 or 5 at a time, but you know, keep one in your toolbox, keep one in your truck, whatever you want. These knives will put it through. They're not great steel, but you know, it'll hold an edge, and honestly, it holds an edge for a long time. I mean, a lot of whittling, a lot of carving, doing whatever, pried with it, and haven't broke the blade. The other one I think is a little bit newer. The other one was carried for quite some time. By far my favorite knife under 20 bucks. This little baby is the Kershaw Leek. This knife's just sweet. I mean, this is a King Onion's design. They have a few different color options. I don't remember which colors they have offhand. You might check. This one does have a safety lock on the top to kind of lock the blade in, but it's super small. You get so much out of this knife. It is an assisted knife, but this one just feels good in your hand, and honestly, it doesn't even feel like you're even holding a knife. Honestly, it's I don't know what else to say. It's just a super simple, clean knife. And you know, Ken Onion's just known for putting out just incredible knives that, you know, you want to carry. This is definitely one that you want in your collection. You know, for what it is, these knives will hold an edge and last a very long time and are super affordable for what they are. So this is the Kershaw Clash. It is a G10 handle. And this one does have serrated edge on it. It is assisted. Again, G10 on the handle. Minimal clip on there. I like the deep pocket clips on it. But this one's super light, easy to flip, especially with the assisted. It feels really good. Good place to put your thumb for the jimping on there. But the handle's really nice. Big enough handle where you can get a good grip on it. Blade's probably 2 3/4 inches around there. But for what it is, these knives are super affordable and good bang for the buck. Honestly, a lot of the Kershaw's really underrated knives, in my opinion. 8CR13 MOV blade steel. This is the Kershaw Curo. So it does have the same kind of G10 texture on the handles, same smaller style pocket clip. It's an assisted flipper as well. This is a Tonto blade, serrated edge. Believe it has the same blade steel. It does not say on the blade, but this one feels pretty decent in hand. Fits good in the palm right here. Decent sized blade too. And these are what I would consider awesome bartender knives. These are the shuffle knives, the shuffle 1 and 2. So this is a Tonto blade. This is the second generation. different style bottle openers on it. So both have a pry tool. You could probably use that as a flathead screwdriver. Same with this. You know, at work, these would be a great knife to kind of have in your pocket. So this is one of my favorites. It's the Buck Vantage Pro Large. I had this knife when I was younger, and a long time ago they used to have, it was almost like a bone finish on it, and now it's a different texture. And I felt so bad because it was one of my favorite knives, and I went to Redbox, and you know they have those sunscreens on there. I left it on the top to kind of hold the sunscreens up. If you are watching Redbox, please put Velcro on the sunscreens on your rental boxes. So I'm sure there are a lot of wallets and stuff left on there. That is not Buck's fault though. So I love that knife, and I had to buy another one. So this Vantage Pro Large is one of my favorites. They just feel so good. They're very, very clean knife. Kind of like a gentleman's folder. It does have a lot of style to it. They used to have that, it's like a bone finish to it. And I could not find it. I don't know if they're making that anymore, but I do recommend going the Vantage Pro if you can afford it. It is a little bit more money. The blade steel is a lot better. This is the other Buck Vantage knife. They did make this one a lot more budget friendly, and this is an all blacked out design. It is a little bit different of a handle and different blade steel on this, but other than that they are very similar. So this is Bear Grylls survival pocket knife from Gerber. Interesting blade, actually. Pretty small bladed knife. It's not really one of my favorites, but I mean, if you want a very reasonably priced knife to kind of go out in the woods with, you know, it could definitely work for you. It's got some style to it. Since Bear Grylls put his name on it, they definitely did a lot of marketing with it, but it's a pretty cool knife. It's just really not for me. I may check into a lot of the Gerber knives in the future, but this is probably going to be one that may get traded out or sold off. So this little interesting knife is the Gerber Remix. It's got a little finger hole in it. It's a very interesting knife. I mean, you know, typically you have your bearing or washers in here. This does have, looks like polymer washers on the sides of the blade. This one is the Tonto version. It's just kind of an interesting blade to have, you know, in your collection. Liner lock design, pretty decent long pocket clip. Feels decent. I'm not crazy about putting my thumb in the hole, but it can give you a little bit more leverage if you need it. Believe they have two different versions. This is the Tonto bladed version, but you know, if different ways to hold it, I probably wouldn't hold it with my finger in the hole, but get a good grip on it to be able to carve anything you need to. And it is kind of an interesting, you know, conversation piece. When people see it, they just kind of ask you a few questions about it or ask to see it. So it's kind of an interesting knife to have in your collection. And this is another one of good quality budget knives from Gerber. This is the Paraframe. Just a good carry knife, honestly. There's only one drawback that I have of this knife, and I've been known to shove my fingers down on the bottom side of it. So if you do get it, just be aware. But other than that, frame lock design, pretty stout, pretty simple blade. I really do like the milling on here. You know, the shapes for the Paraframe on this for the handle is really nice. Good, decent quality blade for under 25 bucks. So you always want to keep your knife sharp. So it is a good idea to get your hands on a good sharpener, and I really like this Work Sharp portable sharpener. Gives you a lot of options. It's super portable. It fits in your pocket. Also fits in your cases or a backpack if you're going camping. It's got a few different options to be able to sharpen your knives very quickly. It's got a hone-in rod, and it's got a coarse and fine and a hook option on the top. You basically just turn this and give you a few different options on just quickly honing a knife. You can finish it off with a leather strap, and really, honestly, this does a really good job, and they're pretty affordable. I will post the link below so you can check them out for yourselves. Well, that's it for my knife collection video for 2019. If you'd like to see any of these knives, you can click the links below in the description. These are my affiliate links. And also, if you want to check out my website at twiggywolf.com or join me on social media on Facebook or Instagram, the links are down below. And if you want to let me know what your favorite knife was in this video or what you'll be picking up for your next EDC carry, let me know in the comments below. Hey, I'm Twiggy Wolf, and I'll catch you later.